A very good evening. It's the 25th of June 2014. I'm Sonali Baduge.
And I'm Shahin Jurampati. Very good evening to you. Welcome to Primetime News. Let's start off the look at your headlines. Terrorism Investigation Department makes 51 arrests in the space of 4 months. Venerable Wateraka Vijitha Thera remanded on charges of filing of false complaints. Professor Sudarshan Senimiratne appointed Sri Lanka's new High Commissioner to India. Professor Maitri Vikramasinghe says that the police and the Bribery Commission should take it upon themselves to fight corruption.
Professor Sudarshan Senimiratne has been appointed as the new Sri Lankan High Commissioner to India. The letter of appointment was handed over to Professor Sudarshan Senimiratne by President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Professor Senimiratne, who is an old boy of Ananda College, Colombo, served as the head of the Peradeniya University Archaeological Studies Department. He has also received his education in a number of Indian universities.
The police say that investigations are underway into the death of a youth killed in police fire in the Baravavila area in Divulupitiya. The deceased was 19-year-old SM Kalum Subasinghe, a resident of Baravavila, Divulupitiya. He was shot following a reported altercation when he was en route home after attending a wedding reception with his brother. Last night on Primetime News, Newsfirst broadcast a comprehensive report on this story, accompanied with footage submitted to us by a Newsfirst U reporter. The police media spokesperson made clarifications regarding the matter this evening.
Reports indicate that this footage was recorded about 8 minutes before the individual in question was shot. What the footage depicts is the police constable pointing his firearm at the suspect, indicating him to stop. However, the constable in this footage did not discharge his weapon at any time. He kept pointing the firearm at the suspect and moved forward. At one point, as he was moving towards the suspect had turned on the constable and stabbed him. When he attempted to stab the constable a second time, the police sergeant at the scene had shot at the suspect. This is the account of the sergeant and the constable. We hope to present this evidence to court.
We reported on this news item last night, covering all angles of the story. Not only the police media spokesperson, but an independent lawyer and a commissioner of the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka expressed their views on last night's news broadcast. Newsfirst stands by the credibility and impartiality of the footage and the news report that was broadcast yesterday. The body of the deceased SM Kalum Subasinghe is currently lying at his residence in Baravavila.
3 or 4 precious lives have been lost in Divulupitiya so far. That is disappointing. There aren't people like this in Divulupitiya. Thereby we ask that Divulupitiya not be dragged down to this level and that a fair investigation be held for this grieving mother, this grieving brother and the grieving town of Divulupitiya. We do not know what will happen. I ask that the authorities take action to ensure that such a crime does not occur again, not only in Divulupitiya but in all of Sri Lanka.
A police officer who was also reportedly injured in the incident was admitted to the Divulupitiya Divisional Hospital the day before yesterday, following which he was transferred to the Gampaha General Hospital. The injured was identified as 27-year-old Police Constable VIA Susantha Chandimal of the Divulupitiya Police. The Deputy Director of the Gampaha General Hospital, Dr. Priyantha Thennakon, said the constable was treated and has been discharged.
The patient had sustained injuries under his right armpit. Since the wounds were not serious, he was treated and following an examination by the Judicial Medical Officer on the 24th of July 2014, he was discharged from the hospital.
The Criminal Investigations Department recorded a statement from UNP Western Provincial Councillor Mujibur Rahman today.
The police media spokesperson says that the councillor was asked to come to the CID to make a statement based on the statements that were made recently by a group of persons who were arrested in connection with demanding that a private establishment close down on the 19th of this month.
On the 19th of this month, they had informed this establishment to close down. They were subsequently arrested. They had said that they had come to this location from the office of a provincial councillor in Maligawata. The Criminal Investigations Department asked his provincial councillor, Mujibur Rahman, to appear at the CID today.
Mujibur Rahman says that the CID made inquiries from him for close to 5 hours.
We said clearly that we have no need to force or threaten anyone into closing down an establishment. We did not order anyone to do this. Those who gave instructions and incited people illegally to damage property worth millions and take 4 lives are still at large. Only the sprats are being arrested today. The sharks are at large. The government should not level allegations at innocent opposition public representatives if they cannot keep the peace. This is being incited by the Rauf Hakims, Ataullahs and Rishad Bathiuddins in the cabinet. Question them regarding this. When they are with the government at night and come out during the day to scold the government, that is where the problem lies. Also in headlines this evening, Venerable Wataraka Vijitathera, who was arrested on charges of making a false complaint to the police, was remanded until the 2nd of next month. The order was made when the Thera was produced before Panadura Magistrate Rachira Valivatta.
Assistant Director of the Colombo General Hospital said that Venerable Wataraka Vijitathera, who was receiving treatment at the hospital, was discharged this morning. Police media spokesperson said that Venerable Wataraka Vijitathera was arrested by the police subsequent to being discharged from hospital. Venerable Wataraka Vijitathera was admitted to hospital on the 19th of this month after being found wounded near the Hirana Bridge in Bandaragama. The Thera was remanded until the 2nd of next month after being produced before court this afternoon.
The leader of the National Unity Front, Azad Sali, convened a media briefing today. A police officer arrived at the location during the media briefing.
On the morning of the day before yesterday, 2 police officers were positioned outside my house and they were monitoring the vehicles that were coming in, and when they left, they stopped the vehicles and searched them and made inquiries from those inside as to who they were and why they had come here and what their connection to us was. This is what the people who were living here told us. We watched them for about 2 or 3 hours to see if they were stopping any other vehicles, but they did not stop others.
මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? කට්ටි සම්බන්ධව මේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකේ ඒක මොකද ඔක්කොම ගෙවල් වලට දෙනවද? ඔව් සර්. අද සම්පූර්ණ මේ මගේ මේ වශයෙන් පිටාගෙන යනවා. ඔව්. දැන් තියෙන එක මදි. අපි ඉස්සර දුන්නේම මදි. ආයෙත් අලුතෙන්. හරි. මුස්ලිම් ගෙවල් කීයක් තියෙනවද කියලා ගන්න ඕනේ නේ. ඔක්කොම ඒක තමයි. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Azad Saleh also requested that a presidential commission be appointed to investigate the recent unrest in Alutgama. With regard to the Alutgama incident, there was an SMS that was being circulated about 1.5 to 2 months ago. When we got to know of this, we went to Anwar Senanayake and asked him to stop this from happening in Alutgama. Then he said that thousands of police officers would be deployed and that nothing would happen. The police did not stop it. Now we have video clips. We asked the President to witness these video clips and conduct an impartial investigation. Appoint a presidential commission. We will stand by it. We will cooperate fully. Just as you said in your Twitter message, regardless of who it is or what their status is, arrest them. But we must mention at this moment that you have failed to arrest even one of them. Meanwhile, the Turkish government has welcomed President Mahinda Rajapaksa's stance towards investigating the recent events in Alutgama and Beruela. In a press release, the Turkish Foreign Ministry says that Turkey is saddened by the acts of violence recently perpetrated in various regions of Sri Lanka, targeting the Muslim population and property. The release adds that Turkey wishes mercy upon those who lost their lives in the events and conveys their condolences to the bereaved families and also wish a speedy recovery to the wounded. The Turkish government believes that the Sri Lankan government will take the necessary steps to ensure that different religious and ethnic communities continue to live together in peace across the country at a time when an environment of peace and confidence has been re-established by ending a 30-year war.
The police state that 51 persons have been arrested by the Terrorism Investigation Division during the last 4 months. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana elaborated further.
මේ වන විට අපි සැකකරුවන් 51 දෙනෙක් අත්අඩංගුවට ගෙන තිබෙනවා. විවිධ LTT ක්‍රියාකාරකම් සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඒ වගේම
We have arrested 51 individuals so far for engaging in LTTE related activities. Among the arrested are 5 women and 46 males. These individuals were arrested after the 8th of March. Before the 8th of March, in total 110 individuals have been arrested by the TID. The Terrorism Investigation Division will continue to conduct operations to ensure that there won't be a repeat of the war again.
ත්‍රස්තවාදී විමර්ශන කොට්ටාශය අඛණ්ඩව මෙහෙයුම් සිදු කරනවා මේ රටේ.
The media center of the Ministry of Defence and Urban Development convened a media briefing today. The following remarks were made at this media briefing. Be it intelligence or army officers, none of them will ever do something that is in violation of their duty. They will not do anything that is not specified in the duties entrusted to them. The armed forces, intelligence units and all other units always work with the intention of national security and not for any other purpose.
A report compiled by Transparency International Sri Lanka was launched at an event held in Colombo today.
The report was based on women's experience of corruption in the public sector. A group including the executive director and senior managers of the Transparency International Sri Lanka were present at the event.
Soliciting gratification under the Sri Lanka Bribery Act has been expanded to embrace sexual gratification. Aside from giving legal teeth to the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, which Sri Lanka signed, I think, in March 2004, it is vital that the police and the judiciary, as the implementing and remedial agencies of the law, aside from other relevant public service authorities, genuinely take on the issue of corruption. I don't think we should wait for the Bribery Commission or the police to come in here, but they should take it upon themselves to purge their institution.
UNP parliamentarian Sajith Premadasa notes that a large number of people have been victimized by fraudulent financial institutions in the Hambantota district. He expressed these views at an event held in Tissamaharama last evening. Thousands of people have been victimized by fraudulent financial institutions in the Hambantota district at present, not just one or two. I saw through the media that the boss of another fraudulent financial institution had been arrested. The fraudulent financial institution was being operated within full sight on Gaul Road in Ambalanthota. I wish to ask why the arrest was not made for so long. Was there any powerful force behind this fraudulent institution? Was there an invisible hand behind this to prevent an arrest from taking place? MP Sajith Premadasa donated building material today to the Atala Rajama Vihare in Debaravava for the construction of a new Dharmashala in lieu of the 90th birth anniversary of late President Ranasinghe Premadasa.
In-flight retail veteran Rakita Jayawardena of King Power Traveller was named In-Flight Personality of the Year this week in London at the annual Airline Retail Conference. The accolade recognises his long service to the industry as well as his contribution to progress and debate within the sector.
Rakita Jayawardena has been called the founding father of in-flight duty-free and celebrates his 30th year in in-flight retail this year. He was the founding president of the Asia Pacific Travel Retail Association. Today, Jayawardena functions as president of King Power Traveller and the founder of Centaur Travel Retailer. Jayawardena has also won major accolades at the Frontier Awards in 1984 and 1986. Newsfirst caught up with Rakita Jayawardena currently in Hong Kong.
The airline in-flight retail industry is it's a very global industry. For a Sri Lankan to have been awarded this accolade recognizes the contribution that I have made in this industry. And now coming back into 2014 to be given the accolade of the global person, I think it speaks a lot for the country and from where I come from. So I believe I'm very proud that this achievement has been, this award has been, it has been voted. It was not only given by choice, but it was voted by the global industry for the contributions I have made. And in the last few years, started from Sri Lanka, I have managed over 50 international airlines from across the globe, from America to Asia. So, a Sri Lankan managing such large airlines and the award coming to a Sri Lankan, I believe that I cannot be prouder anymore.
Still in local news, group leader of the Democratic Party at the Western Provincial Council, Susil Kindalpitia, appeared before the Human Rights Commission today. The Provincial Councillor visited the Commission today based on a complaint lodged by him in January.
Councillor Susil Kindalpitia filed a complaint with the Human Rights Commission and the police headquarters on the 10th of January, citing that two unidentified individuals had inquired about him. Copies of the complaint were also submitted to the OIC of the Wellampitia Police and the Attorney General. On a previous occasion, the Human Rights Commission had called the police and recorded a statement. The police has also informed the Commission of the suspicious activity and that they are investigating the matter. Today I was called for a discussion. I am awaiting the results of the police investigation.
Public representatives say there is a need for a progressive and strong opposition. UPFA parliamentarian Arundika Fernando says it is the government that feels the lack of a strong opposition the most.
අපේ රටේ අද විපක්ෂයේ භූමිකාව ගත්තොත් අපි ඉතාමත් කනගාටු වෙනවා ඉතාමත් දුක්ඛිත තත්ත්වයකට වැටලා තියෙනවා.
When we look at the premise of the opposition today in our country, we are disappointed. It has fallen to a very bad state. We are not surprised at all that the opposition is working to betray the government today. Today, the power in the working committee of the main opposition in our country, the United National Party, has gone to persons like Mangala Samaravira, who even when they were in our party and now in the opposition, attempted to come into power through conspiracies. At the same time, the power in the working committee has gone to persons like Karuja Surya, who betrayed the party and in the latter stages abandoned the party completely. We cannot expect such a United National Party to carry out the task of an opposition. We cannot expect them to carry out the task of an opposition that loves the country and speaks of the true problems in the country. Why? It is because the power in the working committee of the United National Party has gone to persons like this at present.
විපක්ෂයක භූමිකාවක් අපිට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්න බෑ මොකද මේ වගේ පිරිස අතර එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂේ කෘත්‍යාධිකාරී මණ්ඩලේ බලය ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන වෙලාවක.
On to business news. The weekly auction for the week ending June 27, 2014 for the reissue of 12 billion maturing treasury bills was held today. The central bank notes that the auction was oversubscribed with bids amounting to 53.53 billion rupees being received. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka says that it was decided to accept the highest bid of 22,000 million rupees during the auction for treasury bills to achieve 12,000 million rupees. It has been reported that treasury bills worth 1,000 million rupees were auctioned to be expired in 3 months, while another 1,000 million rupees will expire in 6 months, while the remaining 20,000 million will expire in 1 year. The interest rate for the first 3 months stands at 6.51%, while for 6 months the interest rate stands at 6.69%, and for 1 year the interest rate stands at 6.99%.
Since its inception, social media has played a pivotal role, shaping and transforming the world we live in. Social media, which was initially created as a means of broadening interaction between people, has today become a forum for organizing events, spreading ideologies, marketing, as well as a forum to air your views. Many Sri Lankans use the world of social media to express their opinion on the day-to-day incidents occurring all around the world. Social media has also become a platform today for social advocacy art forms.
Social media has played a key role in events that occurred all over the world. Social media was used to rally public all over the Middle Eastern world during the Arab Spring. Social media has also been used constructively in numerous ways and has created a forum for constructive dialogue. During the recent unrest that occurred in the Altgama and Beirwal areas, the general public used social media to create awareness of the situation on the ground, as well as to urge their fellow brothers and sisters to remain calm. 2 photographs captured by photographer Sundaram D. Nishanka, the founder of the Red Lime research and design firm, became hugely popular. Between them, the photographs which were first uploaded on Facebook on the 17th of this month have gathered nearly 10,000 likes and over 550 shares. An ethnic refugee, Nishanka concentrates on creating work that inspires positive social change.
Specific photographs
become a platform for people to share their views and comment, and like a platform there where people come and talk about a specific issue. So I posted 2 specific pictures. One picture was about Buddhism, and the other picture was a very specific photograph. A cow and a dog were sharing common space. When I posted this, obviously with a small write-up, it was amazing to see so many individuals, so many Sri Lankans accepting creativity, accepting photography, and accepting the pictures which I posted. I'm really amazed that Newsfirst has spotted these photographs. I'm amazed to know that Newsfirst is following, digital space and looking for interesting work that has been produced.
Newsfirst, which has been championing new media trends in Sri Lanka, will continue to provide a forum to the general public to reach the masses as well. We remain dedicated to spreading the message of unity and harmony through our numerous media outlets as well as new media streams, including our website www.newsfirst.lk, as well as our Facebook page facebook.com/newsfirst.english, and our Twitter handle at newsfirst_en.
Newsfirst is the most trusted news website in Sri Lanka, using a multi-platform responsive layout for a richer user experience. Our news reporting is verified, unbiased, balanced and fearless. We are Sri Lanka's most powerful social media network. Millions trust Newsfirst. That's why we are #1. Access our content on the web, Twitter, Facebook and YouTube. Newsfirst, your life, our news.
Working committee member of the Askiri chapter, Venerable Madagama Dhammananda Thera, says that he strongly opposes the move to organize night races in the sacred city of Kandy. The races are scheduled for the 27th and 28th of this month.
Our cameras captured the manner in which preparations were being made in Kandy ahead of the night races.
මහානායක මාහිම්පාණන් වහන්සේලාගේ ඒ කියමන් ප්‍රකාශන නොසලකා හිතුවක්කාර ක්‍රියාවක්.
This is being organized without taking into consideration the requests made by the Mahanayaka Theras. The president removed prison from the city in order to make it a sacred city, not a racetrack. We condemn this move as it goes against the president's vision. We would like to urge the authorities to act to protect the heritage and cultural importance of this sacred city.
මෙම සුද්ධ භූමියේ තිබෙන ඓතිහාසික බව සංස්කෘතික උරුමය ඒ විදිහට ආරක්ෂාව කරන විදිහට වැඩ කරන්නේ කියන.
Meanwhile, District Secretary of Kandy, Gamini Seniviratna, speaking in the Newsfirst, said that the Mahanayaka of the CM sector of the Askiri chapter yesterday had agreed to the hosting of the night races on the 27th and 28th of this month based on several conditions. He said that the Venerable Thera had pointed out that such races cannot be organized in the Kandy city in the future.
The Fast Unto Death campaign, launched by a midwife attached to the Peradeniya Teaching Hospital, is still continuing. Chairperson of the Government Midwifery Services Association, Devika Kudituakku, said that the midwife engaged in the fast is in a critical condition. The midwife, identified as Chandima Kumuduni, commenced the Fast Unto Death campaign last morning, demanding that she be allowed to carry out her duties at the hospital. She engaged in this fast atop a concrete slab at a building of the hospital. The 29-year-old mother of one was provided with treatment by the chairperson of the GMSA as she fainted on a number of occasions. The midwives attached to the Peradeniya Teaching Hospital commenced a trade union action, citing that they are not being permitted to operate at the theatres and labour rooms of the hospital. Midwives across the central province had also stepped away from their duties as a mark of support to this trade union action. On to cricket news. Sri Lanka claimed a dramatic first test series victory in England with a 100-run win on day 5 of the second test at Headingley yesterday. The tourists were made to wait deep into the evening to complete their historic triumph after a brave rearguard action by England lower order before number 11 James Anderson was dismissed off the day's penultimate delivery. The 1-0 series win brings Sri Lanka one spot up the ICC test rankings to number 6.
England began the final morning on 57 for the loss of 5 and apparently with precious little hope of denying Sri Lanka having to reach 293 runs on day 5. Moin Ali and Joe Root built a solid 67-run stand for the 6th wicket but were denied further progress when Nuwan Pradeep dismissed the latter. Dhammika Prasad got the better of Matt Pryor for 10 runs, which was his 5th wicket of the test and his career best in test matches. But as the evening had progressed and Sri Lanka could not claim that final breakthrough, it seemed England, like the tourists at Lord's last week, were about to hang on for a famous stalemate. England were led by a battling unbeaten maiden test century by Moeen Ali. In only his second test, kept Sri Lanka at bay for more than 6 hours by batting out the whole of the last day before leaving the final over to his partner. James Anderson and Moeen Ali put on 21 runs for the last wicket, which took them 121 deliveries, denying Sri Lanka an early win. Shaminda Eranga took the ball to bowl the last over of the test, and Anderson managed to stay alive for the first 4 deliveries. Off the penultimate delivery of the match, he gloved a well-directed bouncer from paceman Shaminda Eranga to Rangana Herath at leg gully. Sri Lanka won the game by 100 runs. Anderson's 84-minute 55-ball duck was the second longest in Test history, after New Zealand's Jeff Allett made a 101-minute 77-ball innings against South Africa at Auckland in 1999. Angelo Matthews was adjudged man of the match for his 186 runs and 4 wickets. Angelo Matthews and James Anderson were the players of the series. Sri Lanka secured a clean sweep of the ODI, T20 and Test series against the English.
The 25th edition of the Gamata Krida initiative, launched by Sports First for the betterment of Sri Lankan sport, commenced in Kandy today. The event is taking place centering the Watthagama education zone.
The Gamata Krida initiative was launched in a bid to recognize local talent and bring them to the international stage. Over 5,000 sportsmen and women took part in the 25th edition of the initiative. The event commenced today with a marathon for sportsmen and women in the region. Subsequently, the 25th edition of Gamata Krida commenced.
ලංකාවේ තියෙන පෞද්ගලික නාලිකා අතරින් බොහොම ඉදිරියෙන් අපි ඉන්නේ.
We are ahead of any other private channel in the country. We are not a group of people who are restricted to the news alone. We can create news by simply staying at the newsroom. However, we thought of doing something from the outside. That was the objective of Sports First. We are indeed happy to have reached the 25th edition of this initiative.
දැන් 25 වෙනි අවස්ථාව බොහොම සන්තෝෂයි අපිට 25ක් පසු කරන්නට ලැබීම ගැන.
The practical and theoretical sessions for the participants commenced thereafter. Over 30 coaches will assist and train the participants at this training camp. Programs on cricket, race walking, judo, basketball, volleyball and tug of war took place at the Valala A. Ratnayaka Central College. Tomorrow is day 2 of the 25th edition of the Gamata Krida initiative.
And finally, on tonight's news, 8 contenders of Super Fighter, Sri Lanka's first ever sports reality program, qualified for the final round of the tournament. The second phase of the semi-finals were held at the Stein Studios in Ratmalana yesterday. The semi-finals, which were held in accordance with international standards and rules, were contested by 16 fighters under 4 weight categories. The finals of Super Fighter, which are to be held on the 13th of July at the Stein Studio complex in Ratmalana, will see the 8 finalists representing 7 schools battle it out for the title.
Well, that wraps up today's edition of Primetime News. As always, it is a pleasure having with us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Shahin Jurangpati.
And I'm Sonali Vanigabadage. Good night.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.